Hello everyone, welcome to session 2 of the Unity Study Jam. In this session, we'll be looking at what assets are and what storyboards are. So let's dive right into that topic. Okay, so this is where we had left it off in the last video, where we had looked into how to basically navigate through your scene window and then all the tools that are involved and how to add objects to your scene, and then how to apply materials and textures, and then how to basically apply transforms on the particular object. For example, you can scale, rotate and change its position, and even using the tools you could do that, and then how to align your objects in the scene. So this is like a recap of the last video. Now we'll be moving on to the next step, where we will basically try to get pre-existing models. So for now we have just added objects and looked at how to arrange them around, right? So if you want to add new objects which are like already built by like 3D developers or people, you can get it from a lot of different places. So for that you actually need to know what resources you have, and that's the aim of the video. So for that, what we'll do is the project that we created, let's just test out all the features that we are learning in each video, and we'll test it out over here. And the actual game that you're building, you can also create a new one and work on that separately. You can use this as your testing learning platform. So first off, we'll start by actually creating a new scene. This is the default scene you get when you create a project. So just right click, go to create, and then look for scene. There you have a new scene. You can give it a name. So here we'll basically just call it the storyboard or something, right? So basically put Ctrl S and save the changes you have made to your current scene, then double click on your storyboard, and that opens up the new scene for you, an empty new scene. So why this is helpful is you can like test out each and every feature separately on scenes. Generally scenes act like different levels you have, and or you when you play a game you have different levels, so you can have each level as a different scene. Or when you're having the menu options and the start in the starting screen, that is a scene. Actual game is a scene. The ending card or the credits, that is a separate scene. So for now we just use it as our testing platform, and there are basically three major assets that we'll be covering over here. First is basically all the assets that you can get from the Unity asset store. Unity itself has an inbuilt store where you can actually get all your assets that you need, and it could be paid and free, and you can choose which one you want to use. The second one we'll be looking at is an external source that's called Sketchfab, where you can get a lot of 3D models. If you are not a person who knows how to model 3D, or you want quick assets for your game, you can just get it from Sketchfab. And the third one is basically Mixamo. Mixamo is the one you can get characters. So for every game that you have, you will mostly have a lot of characters, and those characters will probably be doing a lot of movements like running, jumping, diving, sitting. All those animations are already pre-built in Mixamo. So you just need to know how to configure your objects from Mixamo into your project so that you can actually make it function. So we'll be starting with the asset store. So now go to window and click on asset store. This will basically open up the link to your asset store on your browser, and you can just check if you have been signed into your account or not. So this is the account that we had in Unity as well, and you have to make sure that you're using the same account here as well. So since we have signed in, any 3D model that you decide to use over here, that will be directly linked to your project or your Unity account in your desktop, your Unity hub basically. So let's start looking for some assets. For now, let's just say I want some basically something related to environment, like leaves textures, or like leaf textures, and then maybe log, wood, trees, those kind of stuff. So I'm just going to try searching environment. So you can basically see that there's a lot of options you have over here, and a lot of them are paid also. So if you're looking to get free ones, you can basically just click on free assets over here. That will filter out all the paid assets and you can look at all the free ones. I want to basically, you can look through anything you want to add to your scene. This one looks interesting to me, so let's just see what this is. The low poly environment. You can look into what is a part of this bundle, what all you can get out of this. So basically this gives you an idea of all the objects that are included. So here you have trees, bushes, rocks, different types of trees. So since I like this, I'm just going to click on add to my assets. Click on accept. And then it says add it to my assets. So I'll just say open in Unity. So you can either do this and say open in Unity editor, and this will basically show you the exact thing you have imported. So if you take a look, it's called low poly environment free nature, and it's the same one over here. So now you've basically added whatever asset you need into your Unity hub. Now you need to make sure you import it to this particular project. So at this stage, this will be available for any project you create. Now that you've added it, linked it to their account, it will be available for any project you create. But to make sure make sure you want to use it for this particular project, you need to click on import. And this might take some time depending on how big that particular package is. Then you can make sure if everything is selected and then just click on import. Again, you need a little patience with this. It takes some time. Okay, so basically that is done. So the package that you want is basically imported right now. So let's just close this window. Meanwhile, we opened this window from our browser, but there's another way. Let's say you want to access it at a later point of time. Click on window and then go to package manager. This is basically where you'll be able to find this if at all you want to access it at a later point of time. So this one will basically tell you all the packages that you're having in this project, what's there in the register, but mostly we'll be only looking at my assets. So that's just to give you an overview of what's there in the package manager. Okay, now let's just head over to our the assets that we've imported. So this, as you can notice, under your assets folder, we created materials and scenes is basically inbuilt or default. Polytype studio, that's the one that's been added recently, and that's because you've imported that package. If you go into it, you have a lot of folders. So you have one for environment, and then you have a lot of subfolders and directories into it. So you can just go and look at it. Then you have this one. So essentially, when you're adding something to your scene, you want to look into the prefabs folder. That is basically where you will get like your full 3D model along with your texture and everything inbuilt, so you don't have to make any modifications. Let's say I want to add plants. So I have this grass object, so I'll just drag and paste it in my scene, and maybe I'll just zoom in or into it a little bit to show you how it looks. As you can see, we have an imported model. We didn't do anything to model this. It's ready made and you can use it. Let's say I want to add something else, trees. So you have so many options here, and I like this one. So that is basically the power of importing assets. So it's a very, very important tool for all of you who want to design your own game. Here we're just taking up an example to demonstrate or show you how you can import objects. You can completely decide which one you want to add to your project based on the options you have in your asset store. I searched for environment and I got results based on that. You can search for anything you want. So now that's how basically asset store works. I'll just remove all these from the scene for now. So that's the first option. Then I mentioned something called Sketchfab. There you can get 3D models for literally anything that you want to build. For that, you basically need to go right back to your browser and then go and search for Sketchfab. So you need to have an account here for accessing all the models that you need. If you don't have one, click on sign up and then give a particular username and then give the mail that you want. And then give a particular password which matches all the requirements it has, like for example 10 characters, and then say I agree to the terms of use and privacy policy, and then you can create your account. So basically you need to go verify your mail. Just get the code from your mail ID, paste it here, and then sign in. You can choose the option like what is your purpose of using Sketchfab, purchase or download, and then you can create your profile and then you can choose your profile, give individual, and then you can say game developer or whatever it is that interests you over here, and then click on continue, and that's it. You have an account in Sketchfab. Let's just quickly head over to Sketchfab. Just click on the icon there, and then you'll be looking at sketchfab.com/feed. We have come to the Sketchfab feed right now. So what you could do here is search for any 3D models you like, let's say car, and then you get a lot of options and you can pick and choose the 3D model you want to use from here. But let's just say that this is one way you could do it. So if you want to proceed further, you basically click on downloadable. So basically what that means is if you don't have this particular option, like this one you can't download because this symbol is not there. If you want to get that model, you might have to contact the author and then ask them to give it to you. So only the ones that have the symbol can be downloaded. So for that I can filter it out saying downloadable. Then I would probably choose the one I like. To make sure that it's free, you need to look out for this $sign. If you have that symbol there, it means it's paid. So all these are paid. These ones are all free. So let's say I like this one. Then I would just go there, look at the model once it's ready. Yeah, so just look at the model, see whether I like it, zoom in, zoom out. You can do all that. Click on download 3D model, and you could either get FPX, or if there's something called the OBJ format, you could get that. But there's a better way of using Sketchfab in Unity, and for that let's search for Sketchfab in Unity GitHub. So there's basically this Sketchfab Unity plugin that you could use to get it directly. So you have to basically download this particular file and save it wherever you want. Let's just say so wait for it to download, and once that's done, you would basically head over to that particular folder and then go to your project, and you could drag and drop, or you could go to assets, import package, custom package, choose the directory you want to take it from. So this is the file we want. Click on open. So this is basically where you have to say import and then wait for that to finish. Again, this may take some time. So it's asking, do you want these files to be updated? So just say yes for these and other files that might be found later. Okay, so as you would have noticed, after importing, we have a folder here called Sketchfab for Unity, and also a new option here called Sketchfab. So let's browse Sketchfab. So basically you might have to log in over here. So give your mail ID and the password that you had used for your Sketchfab account, then just give login. So that is done. Now let me just minimize the window a little bit so that it's easier to browse. And let's say I want to get a car right now, so search for car, and then you have a lot of options over here. Let's just say I find this interesting, so I'll download this model. So we've successfully imported the file as the message said, and there you go, you have your model ready. Right, so we are done with two different types of acquiring assets. First one was the asset store, then you had Sketchfab. Now we look at the other one. So let's open a new tab and search for Mixamo. Then if you don't have an account, sign up for free, and then so basically give any mail address that you want. Then give the password that you desire, and make sure all the checks are fulfilled as always. So once that's done, click on continue. Then you've got to give your names here, so and then choose date of birth. Let's just say 2008. You have your region, then just create account. So you would have got a code, so let me just quickly head over there, get the code and paste it over here. Okay, so I basically get the code from my mail and I'll type it over here and then wait for it to sign in. And there you go. Mixamo is basically a part of Adobe. So with this you are actually creating an Adobe account as well. So once that's done, you can head over to characters first and choose what character you would like to have in your game. So we'll have a lot of ideas for your games, right? Let's say it's like a game based off of ninjas and all of that. You can look for characters that are similar to that. Or if it's a medieval game, you can look for characters similar to that. Or if it's based off of nature and animals, you can look for that. So you have a lot of options. Choose something that you like. So I'm going to choose this mouse character. You can just turn around and look at it. Once you're ready to download, click on download and choose FBX for Unity and T-Pose is default. Then click on download. And choose the location you want to save it at and wait for that to finish. Once that's done, you need to decide on the animation that you need. So your character can basically do anything it wants. It can run, walk, jump, sit. So you have to decide what you want your character to do. Let's just say I want it to run now. So I'm going to type in run and pick what I like the best. So let me try this out. So if you're not very comfortable with that, keep choosing it. You can test it out on the screen on your right and adjust the position, your view for it. So the option in place means the character will just run in that particular position without moving any further. This is particularly useful when you're going to use it for scripting later, where you'll make it run in place just to get the action and then use it to move it to different locations later. So once you're satisfied with your animation, click on download again, and here you'll notice the options has changed. So FBX for Unity, but put without skin. Without skin because we only want the animation and we don't want the textures right now, and then download it. Save that as well. So once the downloading is done, you have to head back to your Unity editor and then also start working on importing all that into your Unity editor now. So basically drag and drop as always. Then you want to put that in your scene right now, right? So same step again, drag your object, put it into the scene. As you might notice, the colors and the textures that were actually there in the original Mixamo website, it's not there right now. So we have to work on fixing that. So that will be our next step. So click on that object, go to materials in your inspector window and click on extract textures. You can either create a new folder or choose an existing folder right now and click on select folder. So I'm just choosing an existing one, the materials folder that we created, and then give ignore over here, and then voila, you get the textures in it already. So now that is done. The step after this would be animating the character, but that is not something we'll be dealing with right now, since we need to know what animation is, what an animator controller is, which is there in the blue box below, and we'll be looking into that next week, since that's the goal of next week. So that's it. As a summary, we have done everything starting from importing assets from your Unity store, asset store, and then from Sketchfab, and then from Mixamo. That brings us to the end of this session, and see you in the next one.